what can you say? When you burn bridges, you can't expect to cross them again. There's no more bridge because you burned it. All right. And Pat Riley is one of those guys that looks like some, especially people at that age, they're set in their ways, man. They're very dogmatic. They're not going to be reasonable. They're not willing to compromise. And it looks like if the Lakers, and in this case, by proxy, LeBron James, are looking for help, they may need to look elsewhere. Now, obviously, Pat Riley his feelings on the situation could soften. Maybe he could just capitulate and say, you know what, to hell with it. Let's just go ahead and give them what they want.
Future. If bridges were damaged in the past, this moment may be the clearest indication that they are no longer intact. To understand why this situation has drawn so much attention, it is important to examine the history between Pat Riley and LeBron James. These are not just two prominent figures in basketball. They are individuals whose decisions and philosophies have shaped entire eras of the NBA. In 2010, when LeBron James announced his decision to join Miami, Pat Riley was the architect behind the move. Riley envisioned a modern dynasty built around LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, and Chris Bosh. He created an environment focused on discipline, accountability, and championship expectations. For 4 seasons, that vision largely succeeded. The Heat reached 4 consecutive NBA Finals and won 2 championships. During that period, Riley consistently praised LeBron as a generational talent. He spoke highly of LeBron's basketball intelligence, versatility, and physical gifts. Publicly and privately, Riley supported him as the centerpiece of the franchise. However, even during those successful years, there were philosophical differences beneath the surface. Pat Riley has always emphasized humility and organizational hierarchy. His belief has been that no individual, regardless of talent, should place themselves above the team or the game. While
during the Showtime Lakers era, so a lot of fluffery going on for Kareem. Well, things got weird though. About halfway through, Pat Riley again was asked about LeBron James passing Kareem and his overall thoughts on Kareem Abdul-Jabbar as a player. Here's what he said. I always said that Kareem was the greatest player of all time because of his longevity. Kareem was unique from the standpoint that he could play at a high level, play 80 games a year, get beat up because of double and triple teams, and guys just taking shots at him.
Closeness. In 2025, this long-standing tension resurfaced in a more visible way. During interviews that year, LeBron openly referred to himself as the greatest player of all time. While this was not entirely new, LeBron had made similar claims before. The frequency and directness of these statements drew renewed attention. For many fans, LeBron's comments were viewed as confidence or self-advocacy. For others, they crossed into territory that felt unnecessary. According to sources familiar with the situation, Pat Riley took particular issue with this approach. Rather than responding publicly, Riley reportedly requested a private, in-person conversation with LeBron. The meeting, held away from cameras and media, brought 2 former collaborators face-to-face after years of unresolved differences. While no official transcript exists, multiple sources have shared consistent accounts of the discussion. Riley reportedly told LeBron that greatness is not something a player should declare for themselves. According to those accounts, Riley emphasized that legacy is determined over time by others.
Transition. I thought something very crazy was gonna come, and it did. You said something.
And it did.
Wow. Come on, man.
Hey.
It's not even close, bro. Like
he even got Bronny putting up buckets, man. Bronny smashing now. Come on.
Stop it.
Come on, don't be that guy. Don't be that hater, man. Look, we need better from you.
Hey, look, I'm not trying to be Stephen A and get all charged up by LeBron, you know what I'm saying? Like
landscape where athletes are also brands. He pointed to his career longevity, statistical achievements, championships, and global influence. The conversation ended without resolution, leaving both men frustrated. Soon after, details of the meeting began circulating within NBA circles. Although initially unconfirmed, the story gained traction as multiple insiders acknowledged its credibility. The reaction was immediate and divided. Supporters of LeBron highlighted his unparalleled statistical milestones, finals appearances, and sustained excellence across 2 decades. They argued that modern athletes must control their narratives or risk being misrepresented. Critics, however, echoed Riley's philosophy, suggesting that repeated GOAT claims signal insecurity rather than confidence. Former players, executives, and analysts weighed in. Some defended LeBron's approach as appropriate for a media-driven era. Others argued that the greatest players never needed to campaign for recognition. The debate reflected a deeper generational divide in how greatness is defined and communicated. At the core of this situation is a philosophical disagreement rather than personal animosity. Pat Riley's perspective is rooted in an era where humility, silence, and collective success defined legacy. LeBron represents a generation that understands visibility, branding, and narrative control as essential components of influence. There is also an undeniable business dimension. LeBron's brand extends far beyond basketball, and his public positioning affects endorsements, media presence, and cultural relevance. Riley understands business as well, but his experience comes from a time when brand value was built almost entirely through winning and organizational success. This conflict highlights a broader shift within sports culture. Athletes today operate in an environment where self-promotion is often expected, not discouraged. At the same time, traditional values of humility and restraint still resonate with many fans and former players. What makes this moment significant is not the GOAT debate itself, but what it reveals about changing expectations. Riley's concern appears to stem from a belief that constant self-assertion may ultimately complicate how LeBron is remembered by future generations. From Riley's perspective, legacy is strongest when it is affirmed organically. LeBron's silence following the leak has only added to the intrigue. Typically, his camp responds quickly to narratives perceived as inaccurate. The lack of public denial suggests that the meeting likely occurred, even if details remain private. Other NBA executives have reportedly followed the situation closely. While some privately agree with Riley's views, few are willing to voice them publicly. LeBron's influence within the league remains significant, and criticism often comes with consequences. Ultimately, this situation is more than two individuals. It reflects a broader conversation about how greatness is measured, communicated, and preserved. The GOAT debate has never been purely about statistics or championships. It is about values, identity, and generational perspective. Pat Riley believes greatness should be recognized, not declared. LeBron James believes greatness should be owned, not left to interpretation. Both views are shaped by the eras that formed them. This tension does not diminish either man's contributions to basketball. Instead, it highlights the evolution of the sport and its culture. As basketball continues to change, so will the ways in which legacy will be defined. In the long term, Riley's challenge may even strengthen LeBron's place in history. Legends are sustained through debate, not consensus. The fact that figures like Pat Riley feel compelled to engage in this discussion underscores LeBron's lasting impact. The real question is not who the greatest player is, but what kind of greatness fans want to celebrate. Do we value humility and silence, or confidence and self-definition? The answer may differ depending on generation, experience, and perspective. This debate is far from over, and perhaps it never should be. Basketball history has always been shaped by disagreement, comparison, and reinterpretation. That ongoing conversation is part of what keeps the sport alive. The discussion now belongs to the fans. Where do you stand on this issue? Should players allow history to define them, or do they have the right to define themselves? And does this moment change how you view LeBron James's legacy?
As the conversation around legacy continues to evolve, it is important to recognize that debates like this do not exist in isolation. They are shaped by media ecosystems, fan culture, and the economic realities of modern sports. In earlier eras, players rarely had direct control over how their stories were told. Newspapers, television analysts, and league officials largely defined public perception. Today, athletes speak directly to audiences through interviews, social media, podcasts, and brand partnerships. LeBron James entered the league during a transitional period. He experienced both worlds, the traditional media environment of the early 2000s and the player-driven narrative era that followed. This unique position has influenced how he approaches his public identity. Unlike players before him, LeBron has been aware from a young age that legacy is not only built on performance, but also on storytelling. Pat Riley, on the other hand, represents an era where the organization controlled the narrative. Coaches and executives were the custodians of legacy, and players were expected to focus primarily on performance.
Riley's career success reinforced his belief that discipline, restraint, and silence were strengths rather than limitations. This philosophical divide explains why the conversation between Riley and LeBron carried such weight. It was not simply about whether LeBron should call himself the greatest player of all time. It was about who has the authority to define greatness. Within NBA history, this question has always existed beneath the surface. Michael Jordan rarely referred to himself as the greatest, yet his dominance made the argument inevitable. Magic Johnson and Larry Bird allowed rivalry and success to elevate their reputations organically. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar built a resume so extensive that debate became unavoidable without his participation. LeBron's approach differs not because he lacks accomplishments, but because the environment around him has changed. Media cycles move faster, opinions spread instantly, and silence is often interpreted as weakness or concession. In such a landscape, controlling one's narrative can feel necessary rather than optional. However, Riley's concern reflects a long-term view. He believed